Lori from Shoo Shoo Paper Art, and welcome to Visions of Sugar Plums in July. If you're not familiar with Visions of Sugar Plums, that's a time in December when I have some fun with Christmas and do some challenges and some giveaways, and I'm also going to do it this year in July. So this is the first video for Visions of Sugar Plums in July. My first card here features these darling little critters from Critter Sweaters by Simon Says Stamp, and it's just a little hinged card. See on the back, it's hinged actually with washi tape, and it has this pretty snowflake background and features all three of the critters. So let's see, this is called Critter Sweaters, and you can see the little faces, a couple of sentiments, and then the little all the little borders that make the sweaters here on the little critters. All right, so let's get started. Okay, the back piece of this is 4.5 by 5 1/8, and I determined the size, the width of it, by laying the bear and the kitty together, overlapping slightly, to see how wide they are. And the reason I didn't make this, the reason this is a hinged card is because this bear is slightly curved. And if I put him on a card that folded, then I ended up with either some of the cards showing on the side or this little rounded part of the bear folding up all the time. So I settled on the hinge to make this work. The height I just determined by looking at the bear and just giving a little extra at the top so that some of the snowflakes would show. All right, so this background is done with distressings. It's done with picked raspberry and milled lavender and dusty CONCORD. I'm going to be using some brushes that I got off of Amazon to do the backgrounds. And the first thing I'm going to do is kind of block off the bottom of this. Now, you wouldn't necessarily have to do that. You could take this all the way down and you could still write, you know, on the ink. It wouldn't cause a problem. But I just kind of wanted to have that blank space on there to write on. And I determined the height of that by figuring out what the kitty would cover up. So it ends up being, about an inch, a little tiny bit shorter than 1.5 inches. So I'm going to use my blue tape to mark it off so I don't get any ink on the bottom portion, and then I'm going to ink up the top. To go ahead and show how I did this little tag. Oh, and I also might mention that this is a Bristol smooth paper instead of a white cardstock. It blends really prettily, so that's one of the reasons I chose it for this. All right, let me pull this paper, tape off. All right, this little tag I'm going to go ahead and ink it, and it is just the Dusty CONCORD, and I'm going to try to have it be darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. Okay, so now I'm ready to stamp the snowflakes on the back, and they're stamped and heat embossed. What I might mention, let's see here, the snowflake stamps that I used. I used the small snowflakes from Happy Holidays from Lawn Fawn, this little set right here. And I used Winter Wonderland from Pretty Pink Posh, such pretty snowflakes right there. And then I used some older sets that I actually have no idea. I've had them forever. I think they came, I just picked them up from Michael's a long time ago. So I used those as well. So if you want to create this same kind of background, you just need a variety of sizes of snowflakes. And it's amazing how many stamp sets you find that have snowflakes on them. So you may be surprised how many different sizes you already have available to you. Okay, I'm going to put this down and then put some paper back behind it, because I am going to hang some of my snowflakes over the edge. So kind of want to protect my base, even though I've already gotten it pretty dirty. All right, I know that I'm going to use the Merry Christmas from the Critter Sweaters stamp set. So I can kind of put that in place. And then I will just put snowflakes in place and use my Versamark and some Lawn Fawn embossing powder to do the background of my card. Take a look at this little tag. You might have noticed that I used my little embossing buddy on the card. I decided that I wanted to be kind of leave places where the embossing powder would kind of flake on there, because this is still kind of wet, because I think it looks really cool. It looks like snow. So I did the same thing on this Warm Winter Wishes. I'm going to just kind of run it across the top portion of the tag. Putting on a little bit more of the powder along the bottom edge so that it'll kind of look like it's framed in snow. You can kind of see it looks like it has snow at the bottom of the tag. I thought that was pretty fun. All right, I think I have the background finished. Oh, I think that's so pretty. All right, let's move on to the other parts of the card. Okay, so let's put the hinge on. You want to put the hinge on before you put the animals on so that your washi tape is hidden underneath the bear. I'm just going to use a strip of washi tape that's about the same size as the strip, and I am going to go ahead and, just to be on the safe side, because sometimes washi tape does come loose, I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on it, and that way I can be assured that it won't come off. The animals. You can see on their little sweaters that I used a lot of the borders from the stamp set. And the first time I did these, I had a little bit of trouble getting the borders lined up just exactly right. And I saw on a video from Hedgehog Hollow that she was recommending these Sizzix sticky grid sheets for holding down tiny things in your stamp platforms. Like, I really should have used one probably for this. It would have been a lot easier than using the magnet. So I found that using those actually really helped me to get the little borders straight on the animals. You can reuse these. I've used this one several times. And I also, like for the bear, he's pretty wide. So I just laid 2 of the grid sheets side by side so that I could help line up the borders to make his sweater. So I'm going to do the cat and kind of show you. This has a sticky side and a non-sticky side. So I'm going to put that down. And let's see, yeah, the cat is smaller than that sheet. And I can also line up the bottom of the cat with one of the lines on the grid. And that way I'm a little bit more sure that it's straight. I'm going to do the face on the cat first. Their little faces are part of the stamp set. Now for the sweaters, you have different patterns to choose from. And I really thought that this one looked like the bottom of the sweater. You can see that it comes out kind of looking ridgy, like a bottom of a sweater might look. And I chose this one to kind of look like the neck of the sweater. So I'm going to start with that one. And I am just using the distress inks that I used on the back of the blending that we did. In addition to those 3, I'm also using Twisted Citron. I'm going to use these little grid pieces to kind of get this lined up straight. And also, just to make it easier, I'm also going to slip a piece of paper underneath here so that I don't get my background dirty. I should have done that first. All right, so let's start stamping a sweater. card together. All right, we've already got the hinge on, and now we're going to put the bear in place, and he is going to stick off that side just a teensy little bit. I did were add, let's see, I added some sequins here, and on the back I added a couple of little snowflakes and another color of washi tape. So that will finish up our Sweater Critters hinge card. All right, thank you for joining me, and remember, you can always find me at shushupaperart.com.